pistol round where Gambit look to make the recovery. Remember, the winner of this series will be qualified for Masters Berlin. A lot on the line as we get into the pistol.
Yeah, this map is the best map for Gambit. This is one that they've lost once since February and one that they play regularly. A 41-4 record, absolutely absurd, but they are up against ACEND, and he's already managed to find a couple of heads to at least kick things off. They've got a lot of space though, already deep control in towards B, but there's actually no one there for the defense. They just don't know that yet, and the Spike actually still has to cross, but Shados gets the timing perfect.
He will have spotted ACEND there, at least on the mini-map as well. So that is huge information to play with. They now want to push into B, knowing there's only one player here, and they've already got this control. Pushing up, now they've even seen the flank, so they should know this side is completely clear. That's why they're clearing the backside with a knife out. Normally, Shados would probably have his gun in hand. So now the problem for ASCEND is getting back in here, Tom. They don't really have a lot to play with, because as they go in, look at this. All three players are on the backside. And well, it's going to be hard to take those duels. That's nasty, man.
Yeah, you almost have to jump into the angle, which is just not a fight you're really going to win. The only thing that's there, maybe some shock darts can be thrown into the back corner to try and force them out of position. They now know exactly where every single member of this squad is, and you know what? ACEND's already got his third kill of the round. It's starting to get a bit dangerous, but Redgar is there to close. Gambit, again, will kick off the first half with the pistol in their control, but at the same time, we've already seen that ASCEND happy to try and fight back.
In that 3v2, I love the use of their utility to just really slow the round. The benefit of having still been in their default by the time that they had found all these kills. They're then capable of moving into the B side, walling off one side, using a cam, using their slows. And the real benefit comes from the fact that as those players start to push towards the site, they're met by utility that they have to then deal with. And they have to clear all the corners because they expect there's going to be someone with a classic ready to right-click them behind one of the boxes, right? But no, there's just three on the backside. They take, oh, well, that's an awkward fight for ACEND. They take all the fights. Cam's going to, oh, it didn't spot him. Okay, so this is really good information that they think there's a player on the left-hand side, or they know. They have no idea about down below. And in fact, I think getting spotted by that was intentional. They're trying to bait them into a fight. Bone Cold wins it, and the slow down's going to stop Shados from getting away. He's now trapped. They wanted to wall him in, but Starzo just takes the fight. A classic, and he still wins it out. They're capable of pushing in, getting a couple of rifles here. Well, weaker weapons, but still having the potential to retake this A site and put up a damn good fight.
Looks like Redgar has ascended. it's very bright in that room, as is the future of this squad, I'd say. But yeah, this round unlikely to garner too much. The thing as well is you might be thinking, hey, they've got a couple of Spectres. They had nothing in this round. Maybe they could bring into the next. It's just not worth it for ASCEND. They're gonna have rifles in the next round. Keeping these weapons would also reduce the amount of cash they get into next, which roughly be enough for them to actually get a Spectre anyway. So they might as well just try and do as much damage as humanly possible. Even an extra kill here is a dub for ASCEND.
Yeah, breaking the window just to cause that bit of paranoia. It's gonna be tough to win any of these fights, really. I mean, these guys are playing without armor, but closing in the distance here, Starzo has a chance, and good kill for him. Time so low. Winning this out is unlikely. He has a wall, but no time to even put it down. Just trying to bait them into open combat. And oh, look, 3 kills considering the round that's in it. That is damn impressive, and a great performance by Starzo. 4 ult points on the board, despite the 2-0 loss. I think ASCEND have really just put the foundations down for this to be a good answer back to maybe equalize things up.
I'll be interested to see how much Gambit actually put into this round, because there is a real possibility that they just force this up completely, go in with the rifles and just play it as if it's a normal round. But by the looks of it, they're going to play this as potentially the weakest bonus I've ever seen. Like, you've got yourself 2 Spectres, oh, make it a third, and some pistols alongside it. Like, this really isn't good. Defo's going to have to do something incredible, and in fact, he just gets a bullet in the face.
Yeah, good attempt. Poor results. In goes the drone. If this tags anybody, they are dead from the spam through the smoke. He's popped his first recon out. And just put it blindly through the smoke. They started to push, and I was Worried that was going to be full commitment with 3 players still around this choke point, but Gambit happy to pump the brakes, and they're watching for their back. These tripwires, evidently, originally they wanted to go for a very fast strategy, and they didn't intend to meet such heavy resistance. Now they're leaving Redgar to lurk towards this A side of the map and make sure that ASCEND haven't pushed up and therefore fully rotated to the B site and have a heavy stack. They know now that that's not the case because A main is clear. They're starting to move towards middle, and they'll spot this out to be clear as well, a player just playing passive in market. But what they don't know is that there is still a 3-man hold on this B site. They obviously haven't rotated to A, but they're not playing a deep mid. They're not playing a heavier A play. And this could be problematic as they look to push in.
Playing this one incredibly slow. And then the problem is, at this stage, they almost have to run through mid because they don't have the time to actually go all the way back around, which just means they're going to have to face straight into Bone Cold. And he still has his paranoia online. He's not going to use it, though. In fact, he just gets traded out almost instantly. It leaves CNED on his own. And with the operator here, it could actually be a bit of a problem of him being overwhelmed. In fact, he misses the first shot. Luckily, Killers is alongside him, and the second flick is lightning fast. Nats will get 2, but he should be dead as he attempts to plant this. Almost needs to go for the kills, and he runs out of bullets as he goes spraying into the head of Starzone.
If that had a drum mag, I think there was a possibility for him winning that, but yeah, the ammo was really his downfall.
It was a Bison.
Oh god, that's one weapon I'm happy to leave behind. But for Gambit, again, that was a weak investment. As you said, a terrible bonus round, essentially, and they end up with a bunch of kills. They almost get the plant down. How there's a reality where they win that. So I think all in all, you can be pretty happy with that round, especially knowing that this is just such a big weakness for ASCEND as a map recently. Like, sure, there's not a ton of data on them over the last 2 months, but that game versus G2 really did not look good. And with Gambit feeling so comfortable here, we're definitely not going to be scared about, you know, losing that one round to the rifles of ASCEND. And already the answer has been there as they stop the mid aggression, they stop the A push, and they only lose 1 man for it.
Everyone hiding.
Yeah, the worry for me with this comp is that you're playing into a team hyper aggressively. You have to, because you don't really have the sentinels to lock down sites. And you're playing against a team that loves to play slow D40 rounds where they wait for people to push. So it's almost like you're trying to beat Gambit at the game they want to play. Now, ASCEND definitely have the players to do that. Unfortunately, thus far, it's not exactly going great. Killers goes down very early. CNED now basically has to kill everyone. He is going to manage to catch Defo as he flies above and fall back to the site at least. But 4 players potentially pushing onto him, he would need to pull off a miracle.
Paranoia just got used to pull him off the angle if he was still peeking long. They're trying to flank. The bullets aren't connecting. CNED is going to go through the smoke and take Nats down. He's back out for more. 3 kills on the board for CNED, and a round that looked certain to be in the hands of Gambit when the timer ticked away now is contested. CNED even has the ultimate to play with. No updrafts or dashes, which is going to be a little bit hampering. He's getting a heal up. The wall is broken. They know both players are up above. At least they should do. Those slows landing, stopping Shados from really repositioning the recon to slow them down that little bit as CNED takes the operator back out. He clears the angle. A 4th kill. The ace not quite going to be there because Starzo comes in at the final hour, and a little thumbs up from CNED. You can't blame him. What an incredible round.
All I'm gonna say is praise be to CNED. Like, he is the one true god that is out there, because that's ludicrous. Like that was basically him in a 1v5 on that site. Like, he shouldn't have. If he gets 2 kills there, that's a good round considering what he was up against. He had absolutely no right getting 4. And well, I think that's one of the things that, again, we talk about the aggressiveness of this player, but CNED's positioning in this round was spot on in every single duel he took.
Here.
Yep, absolutely. He isolated fights. His timing was perfect. Most importantly, the shots were damn crispy. That's why we love to see this man on a jet, the freedom he has to play that aggressive role, and, well, he does it better than anyone I know. That's for sure. Defo pops the ulti, the Blade Storm. Coming in here on a full buy round for ASCEND. Let's see if they can do some damage, drop these weapons. And Tom, you know, that their chances aren't great, but if that Blade Storm can find the first fight, and it may well do, CNED is going out on middle. The blades don't land, but CNED's shot does. God, he's so damn good.
I feel like if there's ever agent bans, Jet is going to be instant anytime anyone ever plays Ascend. Like, you're not even going to care what the map is. Even if it's one where he might not play it, like Bind, you still might just ban it just for the sake of it, because you don't want this happening to you. Just styling on players that are moving at the speed of sound. But like, the whole problem we have with the knives is like, yeah, players can actually run and basically sprint at full speed. And they're absolutely fine, like hitting all of those knives. And Cened's like, oh, you want to run? I'm just going to hit you with the op and then dash away. It's not even a problem for me.
It's like a 30-degree flick and just dash straight out. I barely have time to process that he's flicked.
By Cened. That's the nerf. Just, you need him on your team, and then they're automatically nerfed for the other player. And buffed for you.
Yeah.
It's best of both worlds. That's what we've done there. But yeah, 3-2. Gambit started strong. Probably should have themselves a lead at the moment if it wasn't for Cened, which is something that I think has been said on every cast ever where Cened has been playing. For now, at least, they are going to have themselves a buy-in. It's not changing for Ascend. They are getting aggressive in every single round, and they have full mid control.
Oh, I thought Redgar was on the other side of that wall about to walk through into Bone Cold, but even still, the position that Bone Cold has is absolutely huge. Now, he can't... There we go. Perfect. So now Cened is covering his back. He's able to watch for the walkout mid. This is massive control. Well, you don't need a Sentinel when you've got mid like this, I guess. And this is a default from Gambit. They're slowing it down. They're not looking to get over aggressive, and a wallbang headshot connects to Zeke. Starzo falls mid. Might be in Ascend's favor, but the rest of the map is undoubtedly Gambit's, as they now have the option to, well, walk into the A site for free, and that's going to prompt Ascend to make some sort of a play. They have to make a move.
Try and bait in some shots from Redgar. He still gets the kill. That was the point of that move from Cened, was to try and bait in the peak, and well, Redgar gets the kills anyway. This might just have to be a save for killers.
But the spike's
operator. Okay, never mind.
There was a chance for a second. The cage certainly squashed the hopes, but the shot to the head was a little bit more demotivating, demoralizing, and final. With 3-3 on the board, Gambit have answered back nicely, and I think considering the early round setup that we saw from Ascend, they had everything going their way, the fantastic middle
David
control.
P.
They had the David P.
The Omen in top mid. That's the David P. If you don't know, get to know. Because if you screenshot that map, send it to Lothar, he's going to tell you that's David P every single time.
It certainly does look like it, right? Remember him sneaking down, getting the info. They had a 4-man A stack before their opponents had even started stepping towards A main. But God, considering the start to that round, Ascend losing it out in the fashion that they did, it's just fights on the wings that don't go their way. A wall bang on A, like, that was devastating. And now Hunter's Fury pursuing a player, not finding the kill, but Cened does. He's pushing up and eliminating Nats as they just fall on back, happy with the man advantage now in their favor.
Yeah, they've already locked down A long with the wall. The dash actually going to come through on the other side, though, and Defo, he's getting caught quite often. Now, of course, it's his role within the team. Take the 50-50 duel, try and garner some space, and it's not going to work every single time. For now, though, it hasn't worked, well, most times. This is interesting, though. They have not seen the spike. They have every single... They have 4 players basically marking tree alone, which I don't think I've ever seen in a match of Valorant. So, there you go. Something new.
So many players here. No spike. The spike is just shifting towards the B site slowly. About to walk on and get the plant for free, but the problem is Shados is trapped in the corner. And Redgar, well, he better hope that he's godlike. He's going to probably have to get away with a 4K, maybe an ace clutch. Let's see what Shados can get done. Make that a little bit easier. They're still sat here.
Yeah, they're going to save. Because that's the thing. Realistically...
10 seconds left.
There is absolutely a 0% chance that Gambit think that there's no one on B. This is a 5 versus 2. It doesn't make any sense to have 5 players on A. It's like, so for them, they're just going, well, I'm not going to walk into B solo because I'm just throwing my weapon away. You might be thinking, like, screaming at your screen, like, why is he not pushing? Because it would be the dumb play to make if you're trying to hold onto your weaponry. But from our point of view, it looks madness because it's just like, well, there's no one there.
You can just
don't know why, but there isn't.
Yeah. No, like, of course there's no way that he can know that. It certainly looked like he was about to just shift through. I think in his mind, maybe he was. that save call was made. They get the calculators out in the background. And as you can see, even with a drop over from Redgar, they're still going to end up, unfortunately, it's Redgar that ends up with the Spectre. They nearly lose a player. ACEND is staying aggressive, and he's got one through the smoke. Caught on the way back, though. Defo picks up a double, now on the site, really trying to hunt down Zeke, who's just on 1 HP. 2, but, you know, close enough. HP in the 2s, Tom. This is ASCEND. Having a pretty tough time to retake on this one. The res almost online for Starzo, though, Tom. If he can just manage to find a kill, these numbers could equalize up, well, swing in their favor very quickly.
Oh, the spam through. It has to get him eventually. The 3 players assisting and Shados in the backlines to close things out for a fourth. I think we've just seen the other side of the coin for Defo. As I said, like, you're going to see him dash into smokes. You're going to see him try and almost fight versus chaos itself. And sometimes he'll get insta-killed, other times he'll double entry into the site and basically win them the round. And that's exactly what they need him to be doing in a lot of these rounds. It makes it incredibly hard to play against them. Sure, ACEND somehow still manages to get a kill, but once they lose that much control, it's very difficult for the remaining players to get back in.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, the painting that we were making of Starzo, maybe being able to get that res of it's so difficult. He's not going to get a res this round either, Tom. He's just being domed by Defo, who's evidently starting to pick up a lot of confidence. So we talked about this guy's role in this team. Go forward, try to find some openings. Or you're taking the 50-50s, oftentimes disadvantageous fights by dashing forward. Oh, Killis wants to get up on that, but he can't get anything done. They now know that Zeke is up close too, so swinging on that would basically be suicide. He might just go for it anyways. Looks like Zeke is keen to take a duel. ACEND elsewhere, picks up a frag, steps her towards the B site. They know that this is going to be a B hit at this point. The cage behind Zeke won't actually cover him. He's still up close, and they didn't suspect it. A double for Zeke, and into 3. And what a way to lose the round. Gambit have got to be kicking themselves, Tom.
I think Bone Cold might have got an assist on like every single one of those kills. The paranoia at the end was perfect, but yeah, that's definitely a slip up. Especially, I guess they knew he was around that area, especially like after scanning him. But I guess they were expecting the play to be a fallback to the site. The thing is, with how well ASCEND have almost picked themselves to play, they can't do that. They can't site hold unless they're just going to rely on individual plays to basically just wreck everyone as they walk into the site. They have to be aggressive. They have to take risks, and well, Gambit weren't ready for that.
Standing ahead.
I don't exactly blame them. You know, it was certainly not the kind of play you're going to be ready for. The guy just tucked up close on the smoke like that, and Defo went for the same route that he did before, right? Just dashing out, trying to get down that alleyway towards the B side. Not accounting for that thorn in the side, the player behind. Now, we move into this round, round number 10. ASCEND have the operator on ACEND and every single ultimate at their disposal. This is a pretty tough prospect for Gambit because they've invested a lot into this round. They don't want to let this one slip away and give ASCEND the lead at the half. Remember, this is a map that on paper, ASCEND should not be doing very well on. Least of all because they don't play it that much, the results, blah, 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 the G2 game. But Gambit, Tom, you read out the statistics earlier on this map, and it is frankly ridiculous how good they are at ASCEND.
Yeah, they have a 91% win rate over 45 maps. Like, it doesn't get much better than that. Killers, though. Oh, this is what we want to see from the Rain. The double kill actually coming in off the back of the Hunter's Fury, and well, this round is done. There's 20 seconds for Nats, and well, he might not look phased. I genuinely think he might be the calmest man in the universe. Like, I don't think I've ever seen his face move.
Oh, he blinked. He blinked.
10 seconds left.
You know, I was starting to get CNED vibes off it. Oh!
Cage triggered.
Well, that's a little cherry on top for the round. I'll take that one. He's going to go out for a little more. Shame. Starzo shutting him down, but hey, a couple of kills. All you could really hope for in that situation, 6-4. Scoreline certainly favoring ASCEND, and Tom, I highlighted going into the previous round that they had all the ultimates online. All they used in the previous was the Hunter's Fury. So they are still stacked up when it comes to that ult economy. Gambit starting to catch up, but there's only 2 rounds left, and ASCEND can easily stagger them out here using their res, using their Blade Storm to make some pretty significant impact.
Yeah, the fear, though, that is as well, though. You have to remember, Gambit, they have to go into that lower bracket if they lose this map. ASCEND will be straight through to Berlin. It seems like in terms of momentum, this is going very firmly in their control. And Gambit have lost some very, very silly rounds. Like, we've now seen multiple, like, the, what was it, 2v5 that ACEND managed to win. You've then also got the round just moments ago where Zeke is lurking around the edge of a smoke and manages to get 3 kills. These are ultimately rounds where Gambit had either a decent advantage or a massive advantage, and the individual brilliance of ASCEND has been enough to take them home. And it's starting to become a little bit reminiscent of what we saw in map number 1, where realistically that first half probably should have been at least won by Gambit, but the ability of ASCEND players to bring rounds back ruined that for them. And then in the second half, they were non-existent.
Now, looking at Gambit's most recent game versus Guild, because we talked a little bit about ASCEND and G2, but that Guild match saw Gambit in a fairly similar position, finishing the attacking half on 5-7. They won the second half on their defense 8-1. It was dominant. And that can fill you with a little bit more faith, but we want to see that kind of 7-5, 6-6 scoreline, and it's not looking too likely as the kills just keep on going ASCEND's way. Oh, I love this play! It's an anime fight in Spawn! Dashes, updrafts, and knives, but it's ACEND that falls. Defo with a spectacular push, and Chronicle does well to extend this into, well, not an advantage per se, but with the control that they have, perhaps it is. The B side about to be crunched in on Killaz, late to the fight coming in on that A rotate, but you've still got Bone Cold and Zeke holding down this site. Ready and waiting, Defo quickly eliminates one, dashes to sight to support his teammate, who's already made quick work of Zeke. The plant in, Killaz has to clutch.
Spike planted.
A single kill here, and well, that Empress becomes ever more deadly. The ability to turn invisible, to disappear to your opponent's eye, and he's a little bit wary of the flank behind. There is that first kill. Now he can look to try and clear out, get a little bit of extra information. Now you do have the knives available for Defo and an operator as well. Not gonna get anything more. The Empress actually faded as well, so he's not gonna have that advantage anymore. The tag's getting Defo ever low. It comes down to the 1 versus 1. The classic can do it, but it's the right click from the knives. Now Gambit have a hero of their own as they get their 5th round onto the board. They're starting to look to get towards 6-6 again.
The most unlikely of ways to win it out as well. I think Defo double updraft dashed in towards their spawn. Here we'll get a little review of that play. Look at this. Up. Dash up again, shot miss, CNET's desperately. I've never seen him move so much. His arm was swinging around like crazy, trying to track where this guy had gone. You rarely see that work out in that kind of form, but especially when you're up against an operator, sometimes it's your best chance. And with that, Gambit have secured their 5 rounds, their bare minimum already done. They now look to push further and connect an even half of 6-6. But CNED, oh, he's looking for some revenge. The knives pulled out for himself, and he misses the ball. Oh no!
This might lull them into a false sense that he doesn't have an operator, but I guess it doesn't matter. Defo won't actually find out until he pushes up. The opener going their way. One of the danger men devastated, but still a whole lot to do. 3 players actually around mid as well. This is a fairly good read coming in from ASCEND. They have the knowledge of the likelihood of where they'll push, but it's just the entry fragment with the operator just swinging into angles. Starzo will at least find the trade. He's still alive and kicking. He's got the res available to him as well to bring this back into a 4v4. In the meantime, though, the B site now being pressured as well.
Oh, Chronicle's already out. They walk right into him, but Zeke, Odin in hand, is shredding them. Defo left alone on 50 HP. A hero he has certainly been. Has to reload that operator and find 2 more kills. 30 seconds on the clock. Spike down shot. Not quite gonna get the kill for him here. He's down to the Bulldog. He's running out of ammo. The pistol comes out to break the door, and the operator, oh, he connected that shot. Tom, imagine for a second, transport yourself to a reality where he actually connected the headshot angle onto Zeke down at the switch. This could have been an ace clutch from him. Incredible. Hell, if that Bulldog has slightly more ammo, I'm believing in it already.
Well, that doesn't happen. just swinging around with an Odin, like, you know, There's plenty of stuff that could have gone wrong. Not having the res, another one, but Ascend have taken the round, and that's what they're going to care about. Now, going into the pistol as well, they get this on the board, and they are, well, a minuscule amount of rounds in comparison to the journey they've had to making it to an international land, to finally getting to see the potential matchup of ACEND versus TENS. It's something that everybody wants to witness at this point, but they still have to get through Gambit, and that is not an easy task. Killers, though, this might be where he's able to thrive. Moving on to that attacking side, that entry fragger roll, just looking to run straight through all the utility, closing the door. Rengar actually gets a kill there, and Chronicle finds another. That's not bad for Gambit.
Especially after Killa has found the opening and healed up to 150 health. He had a massive buff going in for that fight, but met way too many players and utility along his way. Bone Cold, for a second, thought about jumping up. It looks like a more passive stance is going to be taken. The wall about to be broken. Starzo ready to punish any who step close, and the right click deals with them. Perfect positioning. Nats above, looking to sneak out as a distraction is made by Shados, but there's so many players here. They have the manpower to watch it. It doesn't matter. Nats gets it done. Smoke down. Remaining. Players behind it. Nats with another, and it leaves it all onto Bone Cold, who's quickly dealt with. That is a gorgeous retake, and Gambit claimed the pistol to put it 7-6 and possibly equalize things up. Now, Tom, I mentioned last time, they managed to have an 8-1 half on the defense up against Guild. At this point, are we getting a little bit scared? I mean, you got to be believing in Gambit still.
Yeah, for sure. This is their best map. Like, realistically, they're a team that I think are going to be competing for the title at this tournament. I'll be honest, I think the grand final, it's a very high chance that this will be the matchup. So I wouldn't necessarily be too worried in that one. But yeah, I think that there's a real opportunity here. I'm also curious as to how on earth Nats gets that kill where he drops down, because that must have been an insta-shot.
Standing ahead.
Yeah, I think it was a spam because the smoke had already well bloomed by the time he shot. Maybe he saw the feet, but my guess is it was just straight through the smoke. That's Spectre. Oh, it's Farmville. Redgar and Nats, they even get the spike. Another one-way going to be chucked up above. And, well, Ascend don't have a great chance at this one. And Tom, it's not exactly the eco that we often expect out of these second rounds. You know, Ascend decided to force buy. They wanted to answer back the Gambit right away, and well, the remaining Spectres don't stand the best of chances.
One enemy remaining.
No, especially considering they're isolated as well. So that these double man pushes coming through. Kill will come through for Starzo, but as you said, it's not a normal round, so we're not going to give it the same parameters. Like normally, if you're looking at some classics, a kill or two is really not too bad. But when you invest this much into the round, the only thing you're looking for is a victory. So Gambit now get to farm up the ultimate orbs, and the chances are in this round, well, almost guaranteed, is there's not going to be an investment here for Ascent, so this is now an opportunity for Gambit to take the lead.
I hadn't even spotted Bone Cold's having a really tough map. He's doing very well when it comes down to assists, but the man's got 2 kills, and we've seen just the previous map. He had a couple more than 2 then. He was dominating. I think this is just an uncomfortable map for Ascend, and not one that they will have come in expecting to win, but they're tied up, and the game is far from over.
Stay down.
Oh, surely he doesn't get more.
You might be looking at Defo here and thinking, well, he's taking quite a lot of risks for a player that currently has a rifle, but you have to bear in mind that even if he dies in this round, if he gets close to that Blade Storm, he's not going to care. It can be so much of an advantage, especially when you know that there's a purchase coming in the next round. That ultimate can make all the difference. And well, if you look at the other side, CNED's not even close. He's yet to have the impact that he had on the defensive side, at least. It's always a little bit more difficult, especially if he's going to be playing that operator on the attack. But, well, let's be real. We know that he can pull it off. For now, again, this is about at least doing some damage, because you don't want to be allowing Gambit to come in with a couple of flawless rounds going into the half, which, as you mentioned, they have proven versus top EU opposition they can utterly dominate on. However, it is looking quite likely that that might be the case, unless Killers can do something impressive, and, well, unfortunately, this time he can't.
Now, this is where things, on paper, take a turn for the better over in the Ascend camp. They'll be coming in here with the buy, and I think that will be them calling the pause on this one. Yeah. A tactical timeout from Ascend is they want to figure out exactly how to approach this. They took the risky second round force buy. It didn't pay off. They've now given Gambit the lead. this is where they need to put their foot down, because this isn't a full buy that they're up against. This is still a bonus round from Gambit. They have retained the majority of their funds as they've gone through the last couple of rounds in relatively clean fashion. So there's, what, 4 Spectres they're up against? But the problem here is, Tom, unlike what we've seen before, where Gambit are on the attack side playing these bonus, or ASCEND are on the attack, when it's defense side ASCEND, these Spectres are more than perfect for a lot of duels.
Yeah, and the fact is, in the positions where you're going to want to have like slightly longer range weaponry, like mid, that's where Defo's playing, and he has a rifle, so they really don't have that much of a detriment. And as said, if he gets a kill or 2 in this round, then dies, he has his Bladestorm for the next one when they're going to be buying again. So yeah, for Gambit, this is as good a position as you could possibly be in going into this defensive half, or the first buy round of the defensive half. And for ASCEND, as you sort of almost bring it up, they need to kind of take this one clean to even put a dent in what is the current economy. And this is before we even talk about the fact that they now have to start breaking through that utility, Cypher utility that we see coming in from Nats, who, as said, in my opinion, is one of the best Cypher players in the world.
This is where we see a much more comfortable defense as well from Gambit for that exact reason versus what we saw from ASCEND. The fact that they have this ability to play nobody on middle, not even glancing at it with the tripwire up. And then obviously the supportive elements on the A side, the slowdown ability that comes with playing the Cypher. And this will change up as we go. Those tripwires are going to be in constantly different positions, and it's why we so frequently see teams play a Sentinel. Well, why we very infrequently see a team avoid one when it comes to this map. It just steals so much control away from you, and it limits you into a more aggressive playstyle on the defensive side that we saw ASCEND have to go for multiple times. This time around, Gambit are very slow, but it's Defo tucked up in the corner with that rifle, who's about to take the opening fight, and he wins it easily.
And the best thing about it is he can just get out of there. No problems at all. 35 seconds up and coming on the clock, and they look like they're about to push into what is Nats' setup, and now he has the support of that rifle. We're going to see the initial Leers going through, trying to deny some space. They know that Nats is here, or should have a decent idea, but the crossfire of him and Redgar have actually managed to hold on. He's lurking within the smokes that Jet has thrown down, and finally we start to see trades come in. It's bone cold, waking up to the table, and the Rez is going to turn this round on its head.
Time is so low, though. That plant has to be found, and if they have any way of delaying it, that would stop the round here and now. It looks like it goes comfortably down, and the flank up by Starzo finishes it. Okay, let's see what you've got to send. 3 players left alive at the end. Good push on the site, and fantastic. I mean, I don't know if I even call it a post-plant. It was almost pre-plant. They were just rushing them down. Love to see it now. 8-8 tied up. Gambit get a full buy out of it, though. And Tom, you know, surviving with 3 players, I think, puts it on fairly even territory as we come into this full buy. Chronicle is stealing my heart playing that Odin alone.
Yeah, the only thing is, I feel like even still that round for ASCEND at the end looks a lot closer than it actually, or looks a lot more dominant than it actually was, because they had to use a res in the mix of that, and it came down to some pretty clutch plays coming out from Bone Cold. So they invested a lot to get this one over the line, and now they're coming up against a much stronger buy. That was still Spectres mostly for Gambit in that round. There was only a single rifle, so this is now a much, much tougher round to beat. And we're getting very close to a lot of impactful ultimates being online. Bladestorm, 1 away. Rez, 2 away. Okay, from the shadows. That one's there too. Woo! But realistically, like, this is only the beginning for ASCEND if they're going to make, well, I guess it's a comeback, but realistically, we're currently level.
Let's settle this once and for all. Twitch chat, what is the least useful ultimate? Is it From the Shadows, or is it Neural Theft? I want to know. I don't want to see anyone saying Cosmic Divide in there. We saw some good usage yesterday. I like it. Little does he know.
I don't know. I think it's Viper's Pit when you use it.
No, listen, Tom. We want to bring ourselves into it. That's just fine. The wall's about to go up. Look, these guys have got a nice angle on the site. Shados needs to be ready for it, and that he is. Even catching them on the TP to site. Spike down. They know it's commitment, and Shados keeps on fragging. 3 on the board, leaving CNED to do it alone. 1 versus 3. He fake plans, but nobody bites. They are playing this nice and passive. They're giving him the space, and hey, you know what? We'll retake us a 3, man. That's no problem. He's tagged up. He's trapped on the backside, and they are rushing him down. Defo definitely winning the fights up against CNED on this Jet play here on ASCEND.
I love the fact that in that moment they go, right, it's CNED. How can we make sure that there's absolutely zero risk? Okay, let's make it so that we know exactly where he is and he's completely blind, and we're going to use one of the most powerful ultimates in the entire game to kill him. That's how you take down CNED, everyone. Just a combination of everything you could ever need. 9-8. As said, that round was really important for ASCEND because financially, they are in the bin. Now, they do still have the ultimate for CNED, which I wouldn't be overly surprised if he pops into this round. But, well, Mitch will be happy. That's a hell of a lot of damage coming off the back of the Odin.
That's a lot of damage, Tom. You know, you're very right. These guys are tagged up and having to use their heal early on. It's armor stripped away. Most of all, though, it's fear. You hear that rumble of the Odin. You do not want to push B main, but it looks like ASCEND have a different interpretation. They're inviting themselves in and
he got both.
Down. B.
collapse them. Well, that is put an end to the sneaky play in B main. Looks like Zeke is waiting here for an angle, but Shados takes him and
Did he curve the bullet? They didn't look like they were lined up at all.
I'm gonna guess that that's a spectator thing. You know, sometimes in other games I've experienced the spectator
if you
be out of sync.
dash as you shoot, the bullet curves. Do you not know that?
Tom, please stop putting things into Twitch chat's head. These guys are going to be in the ranked games, dashing every time. We're going to play a ranked game later, and you'll be like, dude, why are you dashing when you shoot? He's like,
I this guy say it, I'll be
curves.
like, oh god.
It's your
I
fault.
heard for a reliable source. No, not at all. Not at all. They still have CNED's Blade Storm, but other than that, absolutely nothing. Killers goes down. He's been having a bit of a rough time. And as said, like, picking up the Reyna here, especially on the defensive side, the plan was to go aggressive into a team that likes teams to go aggressive against them. Like, you have to bear in mind that Gambit have been playing in the CIS region, where a lot of the teams... Well, just look at the players who've been coming over from the CIS. Like, a lot of them are absolutely ridiculous. Durka probably takes the biscuit as one of those players. So that is something Gambit has had to deal with for quite a long time. And I would say they're experts at it at this point.
I will rip the light from them.
This is a game where someone brings up the flag. Dirk is not from CIS. Gonna be raging later. CNED. He's actually got him. The rivalry between himself and Defo settled in this round in his favor. ASCEND have lost Killes and Redguard. Makes this so costly. Starzo, CNED, and even Bone Cold. Redguard's looking for the ace, and it's only Zeke to stop him. A devastating blow to this ASCEND side as a clutch is needed, but he might just be on for it. Chronicle drop-shotting with an Odin is what separates Gambit from ASCEND here. What a ludicrous round, but it puts 11 on the board now as Gambit step closer to a third map. To really making this a competitive fight for that Berlin spot. Oh, wow.
This is so cursed. Like, he goes to spray the player who's pinged again. gets Starzo instead. Oh, that's so unlucky. Like, you genuinely can't get much more unlucky than that. I also want to point, well, it's a bit harsh, but Redguard's just got the same amount of kills as Bone Cold in one round.
Oh, no. That's... You have to do him like that. CNED's in! He's bunny hopping into sight! There's a confidence on this guy. Give him a pistol, and he's a madman. Bone Cold Starzo already down. Redguard's dropping down for more. Farming up that very valuable ultimate. As Nats, well, he'll try to deal with CNED. Oh, God, there was a second where I got very, very scared. Like, 12-8 we go. ASCEND will full buy up here. They decided to play for the OT. I respect that. Now let's see what they can do.
See if there's any way back into this one. 4 rounds in a row. It's I wouldn't say it's likely with how their attacking half has gone so far, but I'll be honest, if there's any team that can do it, I would put it to ASCEND, especially now that CNED is going to have his operator in play. You got the Empress available as well for killers. The issue is on the other side. Shados now has his res, and the other two ultimates that, well, could be coming in fairly soon, not that far away. Operator still in hand, so much of a financial bonus as well for Gambit. This is exactly where they want to be. And as you said, their defensive side versus other top European teams has also been fantastic. They are proving it again. They are a tough team to break.
That they are. We knew it. We warned it. The defensive side of Gambit is scary. It has been many times over. And you know what's funny? Coming into this game, I kind of thought that When we saw that agent select go down, it looked like ASCEND were kind of on the back foot when it came to their own defense, and yet they looked stellar there. Things don't always go as you expect. I expect this one to go in Gambit's favor, but 4 rounds in a row, as you said, Tom, it's tough, but it's doable.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those spots, unfortunately, where like if the economy was a little bit rougher, you wouldn't even say it's that surprising. But just because they're likely to face off against buys in almost every single round, that's going to make things quite a bit more difficult. Now, Bone Cold, he's trying to fake out some of the sounds, but there's nobody getting aggressive this time. A more passive stance, at least. The operator locking down the back of the site, and all of the Cypher utility sat within mid and B once again. In fact, most of their delaying utility is on that side of the map. So after a few failed rounds on A, it looks like Gambit's going for a hard read on where they expect their opponents to be going.
Much slower round from ASCEND. You see the thought they've put into this one, hoping that Gambit start to step forward, but it ain't happening, so they've got to create their own opportunities. 50 seconds on the clock and an Odin spraying through a wall from Shados. Curiously put down. This is going to stop them from actually making it out market. I like that, but sadly we won't get to see it in action this time around. ASCEND have shifted focus, moving towards this A side as Gambit hold down with Redgar. This time getting caught. Out comes Reyna, revealing the information, giving it to a teammate, and Bone Cold shuts down Defo. Then tries to kill his teammate who gave him the information. You know, Bone Cold, I didn't strike you as that kind of guy, but all right.
Oh, he's cold. It's in the name. I don't know why you didn't expect it.
You're right. You're right. That's on me. I can't blame anyone but myself.
Now, the benefits of pushing in this sort of scenario are basically just to try and do as much damage to ASCEND's economy as possible. They're not going to gain anything for ultimates, as both are online. And in terms of finances, they're not in a bad spot. On the other side, though, hey, if they can get rid of all of this remaining weaponry, there's actually a chance that maybe there'll be an eco at some point. So, there you go. CNED. Shutting things down. Solid round there, but again, like, I kind of look at that one and go, do I think Redgar misses that kill too many more times? Probably not. But it's a much better push coming in from ASCEND, and their trades onto the site were fantastic.
Oh, yeah, that was a gorgeous round. That was textbook. After the pause, they gather themselves, they play the slow round, they have a set idea of where they want to go afterwards. It works out exactly as intended. Flawless. It's not going to be that much of a consolation, because if they lose a round, it's already over. So, you know, it just means that they're, I guess, guaranteed to have... Wow. Well, I didn't expect combat that early in the round, Tom, I'll be honest. And CNED has once again hit a shot before I've even registered that he's seen someone. Including with X-Ray. That's nasty.
It's definitely going to be a trade, though.
He wants the
Lost
res.
Killers. Been having a pretty rough time. Yeah, they want to try and get the res through. Definitely help if they can bring him back. In fact, they're going to use the paranoia to try and hold on to this control. They don't want to allow for it. CNED, well, it seems, has forced them away. Instead, they re-aggress some more. They res one player and they lose another straight back.
You have to wonder, at this point, you know, is Bone Cold kind of in his own head? It can be really tough if you start to get into that downward spiral. A lot of presence made outside the A side. They're walking back. This is the plan. A slow play into B site. They've got their res up. They've evened the numbers, and Zeke is seeing it's completely open. This could be very dangerous. Chronicle with the Odin up close. He peeks, and he's already pre-aiming it. What a disgusting shot as Zeke falls. He presumes they're already on the site. The TP coming in confirms it, but Starzo shuts him down. That's the spike on its way into the site. Redgar has managed to TP up back. He's hearing the steps. He knows they're close, but they know he's here. It doesn't seem to matter. He still manages to connect onto Starzo, and the numbers remain even. Oh, nice shot by CNED, but the knives aren't able to connect afterwards. It's damage, and it's scaring Shados. He's waiting for his buddy, his teammate, to come on in. The cam not quite getting CNED out of the way, but knives still to play with. An aggressive playstyle is expected. He switched up to the right side and the collateral to close out the round of 4K for CNED, and 12-10 we go. 4 in a row seemed pretty tough, but now that they're only looking at 2, Tom, it's starting to look like we might be getting an overtime out of this one. I know Gambit is certainly going to be feeling the pressure because of that.
One enemy remaining.
Aw, thought
Winning.
I'd try harder.
What was that, 2v3, 2v4? Really good comeback in that round again. After what was a really solid start coming out from Gambit, it's starting to slip away. And as said, like, they're now starting to run out of finances. There is a very real world, but they have a weak buy going into what would be the overtime round, which would be horrific for them. Not going to have the operator either. In fact, the majority of players aren't going to have maximum shield. So this could definitely be a problem. And they actually know they do have the operator. It's been handed over by Nat. So they're going to put a lot into Defo. No surprises there. He's been phenomenal so far. I'm looking at the ultimates. Hunter's Fury, the only one, except maybe Defo, that could actually come into play this round. The others are very, very far away unless they get a few kills and maybe an ult orb or two picked up.
Yeah, that's the kind of tough part for Ascend. Similar to what Gambit faced coming into the end of the previous half, it's the fact that now Gambit have that ult economy. They can choose to deploy their Hunter's Fury and their Blade Storm in the same round and try to really push the odds into their favor. And in terms of ultis to answer back, there's not much that Ascend can do, so they need to find a different response, and this might be it here. The wall about to be put up for a very early aggressive peek onto short. CNED will be holding that now, probably for the duration of this wall, and if anybody pokes their head out, they will be in a lot of trouble.
I'm wondering if this is going to be a faster play. Using the drone very early on, potentially trying to pull a rotation or two, or trying to get someone to peek into the angle, but Starzo, he's looking to fight, looking to brawl. Now, they are going into what is a lot of the utility. Now, there's always a cam above. This is the thing you have to check when you're up against Nats. He's just waiting and watching. He knows the players are coming through. The tag there as well. Even though he's paranoid, he can still find the kill, but doesn't actually get anything. Defo, though, has already managed to pick off one. The Hunter's Fury will surely find another. It's looking like the beginning of the end. A 5 versus 3 as they need to fight this back.
The push through the smoke by Zeke, it was a glimmer of hope, but Chronicle is quick to shut it down, and Killez is revealed by, I think, every piece of utility. 13 to 10. Gambit, they will stay alive.